Well, welcome to the CGIA Judges Training Course. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to type in judgeforms.cgia.us in your browser. We use Google Chrome. It'll work a lot better if you're using it in Google Chrome. If you don't have that on your computer, you can download it to do these tests. It's a free download. Takes a minute or two to install. These forms will work better in Google Chrome than any other thing. And though they will look the same if you're using Internet Explorer and you want to try it in that's fine too. When you get to the contest, we will have computers with Google Chrome on it, and because it just works better. So we go to judgesforms.cgia.us, and it's going to come up to a list of all of our events. Now, at the time I'm doing the video, I only have 3 events listed, and the 4th is the practice that we'll be using today. And you are free to use the practice for judges form as many times as you want to go through it, every day, forever. That's fine. I would ask you to please do refrain from using these other forms that are listed here until the day of the contest for the real data. The practice for judges, we just click on it, and a link appears at the bottom. We click on that, and it takes us to our sheet. And notice this practice for judges, this sheet is the same sheet that would be used when the judge comes and used for a short sermon. So all of the questions and the different things are the same as the short sermon. All of the sheets are going to work the same way. So whether you're judging a brass solo or short sermon or woodwind or whatever, they're all going to work the same way. The first thing that's going to come up is category. And in this case, there's practice for judges. There'll only be one category listed in each item, so that'll be an easy choice. Judge number. This is going to be issued to you by the directors, and it's going to be important that you know which judge you are for the particular item you are judging. They will try to make sure that if you're judge one in one, that you maybe judge one in another category, but it may not work out that way. It could be that you're judge one when you're judging the short sermon, and then when you go back later on and judge woodwind, you might be judge 3. So just be aware of which judge you are for the event. Only reason that's going to be important to us, well, 2 reasons actually. One is to be sure that in any event there are listed 3 judges, so that say in this short sermon event we don't have every judge logging in as judge 1. That wouldn't be very good. We want to be sure that every judge is different, so you need to carry on the judge number that's given to you by the directors. Another reason for that is simply that the judges may say there's something we didn't understand in a comment or something, and we want to get clarification before we pass it on to the student. If you're judge 1 and we know that, we can come to you and say, could you clarify this so we can really make this comment perfect for the student to really help them. So okay, so that's enough on that. Choose the student. So you'll click the down arrow, and all the students for that particular thing will be listed here. In this case, we'll say Jennifer Frazier, or just picking somebody at random for practice. And as long as you're in the practice for judges sheet, again, you can click anyone you want. Okay, so first off, you have selection appropriate, and you've got to give them a 1 through 10. And here's a hint: is this selection, what they preached on in this case, is it appropriate for this festival? Is it appropriate for the level of difficulty? 1 through 10, 10 being perfect. Okay, and I'm going to write perfect in the comment. And you do not have to comment on each item if you don't want. You may want to save even some of those comments till the end, till after the performance has been completed, and in that case, you'll have a couple minutes to go back and fill in the blanks at that point. A Christian message presents a solid biblical perspective with ministry effectiveness in mind. We're going to give her a 10, and we're going to give her a 10 for theme development. And I'm gonna breeze through this, and obviously you're not going to breeze through it when you're actually judging the students. Be sure you're familiar with whatever you're judging. Be familiar with what it is we're asking you to judge on each part, so you can have the best possible response to each thing. Expression, body language, originality, posture, and again I'm just going to click 10s on here just to get through this. And the reason I'm not just skipping and going to the end and trying to submit is because these are set up that you cannot skip one of these accidentally. If you do skip one, it's going to not submit. And I'll show you what we'll do. I will skip one here in a second. I'll skip the last one just to show you how that would work if you skip any of them. And we'll go ahead and click 10s on everything. And there is one comment that you must put, and that is the overall performance comment. I'm going to skip that. And also I want to point out, before I do this, I want to point out that it says effectiveness total, and each category inside this, effectiveness, appropriateness, all these different things, they have an accounting total, and you do not fill that in. That is a blank space there left for the accounting, and they will total all that up, and it's the same. Anytime it says accounting will total, don't worry about it. Okay, I'm going to click submit, and notice it didn't submit, and it highlighted this instead of required question. Now, had I not checked something up here, I may not see this red thing, this is a required question, but it won't submit. I'm just going to keep seeing what I'm looking at over and over and over. I'm just going to put good here. Hopefully your comments are going to be a lot more than that. The goal is to encourage these students, to give them positive criticism, and of course what I mean by that is share with them how they can become stronger, and please try to word these in a way that is positive for these kids. We don't want to knock them down and beat them over the head with a hammer. What our goal is, of course, and I know that's what you're up to, because you're helping us and volunteering, but our goal is to try to be very carefully word each of these items so that we give them constructive criticism and really lift them up, but at the same time point out where some of the pitfalls, I wouldn't call them pitfalls, but for lack of a better term right now, where those are and how to improve. And that's really what we're after to help these students. And so finally, we'll go ahead and click the submit button. Now that everything's there, this is what you're going to see. Your response has been recorded. If you do not see that, you have not submitted. So be sure that you see this every time you submit a form. And that's really pretty much it. Please go ahead and practice and go through some of these so you can kind of see what they are. There's no problem clicking on one of those sheets that we're not using and looking through, or the other material to find out what each category requires. So thank you very much, and I hope this helps you, and we thank you again for helping us and coming to volunteer to judge in the CGIA.